Well, hello and welcome to the Middlemen podcast, where, as always, we'll talk boxing, British boxing this week alongside myself, Noah Abrahams, and Max Taylor. It's all the action from inside the ring with rising British and Welsh boxing star, one half of the Croft twins, Garan Croft. Garan, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Nice pleasure to be speaking to you.
Appreciate it. So you're 21 years old, you're a European champion, silver medalist, a Commonwealth Games bronze medalist. You're the twin brother of a Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and you've represented Wales. Now you're on Team GB. That's not bad for a lad from Cardigan.
No, not at all. But it's been a long time coming. Been in the game since I've been about 8 years old, 7, 8. So it's 13 years now, and it's not all been success. There's been some downs as well. But now the last few years, especially the last 12 months, has been unbelievable. I see myself come on a lot, and yeah, just improve in all aspects of my boxing.
And we spoke when I saw you at Commonwealth Games, Garen, about how back then it was only about 6 months you were kind of fresh into the GB setup, but already had a whirlwind of a year, and that was only the first half. Now the time has gone on. How have you found yourself kind of navigating that path of, one that many boxing greats have walked before in terms of the GB setup, the amateur route, and participating in major competitions?
Yeah, I've definitely settled in more now into the GB. Comfortable up in Sheffield. I'm happy there at the moment. Obviously, not ideal with the situation with my brother's weight being taken out, but no, I feel my experience in that first 6 months was massive. Having three major tournaments in the space of about 6, 7 months has really boosted my confidence ready for this year, and hoping to carry on the good form from last year and try and qualify for the Olympics this year.
Garan, you mentioned your brother's weight there because they've dropped the welterweight weight class. So can you sort of explain what's gone on? Do you understand it? And at the same time, what's the general feel with you and your brother? What have been the discussions that have been had?
Um, they've dropped the weight because, well, they've dropped welterweight, they've dropped middleweight. They're trying to make more room for women's weights, which not going to speak too much on, but I can understand it. But I don't think it's the right thing dropping some of the most historic men's weights. I mean, middleweight and welterweight is probably the most popular weight for men's boxing, as well as the heavyweights. But it's a bit nuts. You can just take away the two most exciting weights, pretty much, in my mind, away from Olympic Games. Over the years, the Olympics have seen some great middleweights and some great welterweights, and now that's come to an end. We won't have that anymore. But yeah, me and my brother, we sat down, we've talked, and it's quite obvious. GB have said, and they know they don't even like us sparring each other up there, so we'll never be put in the situation where we'll be in a position to even fight each other. It'll just be we'll get picked over form, so just we'll be sent to different tournaments or whatever. So yeah, it's we can deal with it. Obviously, it's not nice competing against your brother, but I'd rather compete with him in this way rather than have to jump in the ring with him and box him, if you know what I mean.
Yes, it's a poor mistake made by the International Olympic Committee to do that to boxing. Is, as you said, stripping away very entertaining weights. If you look at the Commonwealth Games last year, both divisions that you and Johan obviously in separate weight classes in that competition, but very exciting people. If you look at the depth that had, you had former medalists in there. So I personally think it is a poor mistake made. What has been the conversations then that you've had with Team GB as well? You said that they're going to pick you guys over form. Have they kind of told one of you to step aside, or are they just going to make that decision on the fly there?
No, so they're giving us both a equal chance, a fair chance, as well as Harris Akbar. There's three of us at the weight, and obviously each of us have got to prove ourselves and show them who the best light middle is, and we're getting chances at these tournaments to show our skills, and it'll be whoever's in best form will get the space. So no, it's a fair way of doing it. We'll never have to box each other, so it's not as bad as it really is. It's just our dream is always, like the Commonwealth Games, us both being with the hope of medaling or winning it. So in that aspect, our Olympic dream is over in that way, but now it's an individual dream of representing it by ourselves, and that's still a massive thing we both want to do.
You want to do it by yourselves, but like Max says, there have been some great boxing brothers from the Klitschko's to the Yafais. I mean,
Yeah.
Is that the aim to create a legacy like the Yafai name or the Klitschko name or like so many others?
Yeah, definitely, and especially as we go into the pro ranks maybe next year now, that would be a big marketing thing if two twins have been to the Olympics. That was what we were hoping for, but yeah, definitely we come as a pair either way. So that is the aim. Yeah, just like the Klitschko's and just like the Yafais. Three of the Yafais have trained in Sheffield in their own time, and you know they're unbelievable boxers, and they've all helped each other along the way, and we'd hope to do similar.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the pro ranks next year there. Is that going to be something, obviously, I assume you and Johan are going to hit at the same time, and have you kind of maybe not put a month on it, but you've looked at next year and said, yeah, after the Olympics, then we're going to we'll definitely go into that. Obviously, one of you won't be going, but after the other has
Yeah.
competed there, are you eyeing the pros up just before? Because obviously Jake Dodd from Team Wales has he signed pro then by being with Joe Gallagher?
Yeah, Jake signed a while ago with Rob Rimmer, but not sure how up to date you are with the boxing, but I'm not too sure what's gone on with Rob's boxers, but a lot of them have moved gyms. So Jake's now gone to Gallagher's, which I think's a brilliant move for him, chuff for him. My brother actually met up with Jake last week on his way back from Manchester, and the first time they've met since the Commonwealth Games, and those two have always had a funny relationship, bit of a love-hate. I mean, I think Jake's been very close to punching him a few times, and there's been a few scuffles. But no, I'm chuffed for Jake. I just hope he's another grafter. He gives it his all, and where we're a bit different to Jake. Jake's got a bit less. He's not really got time on his side, so he's a bit older. I think Jake's probably 27, 28. So fair play to him. He's made his moves quick, and I can't wait to watch his debut because I think it's going to be exciting. But yeah, the pro game for me and Johan, as we're only 21, there is no real rush. Time's on our side, so yeah, we've looked into it already with the whole scandal of the Russia not being allowed to compete if Russia are there and stuff. But nah, I'm staying amateur for now is the best call, and we're both happy in Sheffield as it stands. So yeah, we'll be in no rush to go pro, but it is something we are looking into. But yeah, definitely after next summer, that will be the next move.
Last
Um,
one from me. I was just going to say,
go on, Noah.
you touched on Russia there and everything else. I mean, how important is it for boxers to stay out of the politics, to just let everyone else sort that, for you guys to just focus on punching each other?
Yeah, we've had our warnings, quite firm warnings off UK Sport, GB Boxing, GB Sport or whatever, and yeah, I mean it's not our place to step above the government there, and because there's a possibility we will be approached by the IBA, which is the International Boxing Association, and they will invite us to the World Championships where Russia will be, and they will fund us if we participate under the white flag, and that is something that is way out of our hands. I mean, if we do that, we've been told it won't be good press. We'll be on the news probably, but no, we're in a team up there, so you listen to your coaches. We can't go out of line. We've got to listen to the government. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the government who have given us the opportunities, as they're the ones funded us to the Commonwealth Games, funded us to Europeans. So yeah, it'd be very disrespectful to go and do that, and I think a silly move. I don't think it'd go down well with the public either. But yeah, we're just listening. They've got plenty of other tournaments for us, so there's no need to go into anything rash like that. So yeah.
Garan, we know you're a busy man, obviously, with your lifestyle, but you have got some leisure time, your week off, and we know you got a dart to a cup final. Just finally, then, before you do go off, what are your plans for this year? What are your ambitions, obviously, before your big year that you got scheduled ahead next year?
I'm going to get a handicap in golf probably in the next few months. That's what I'm aiming for.
We saw you were up
no,
in Rotherham there playing the other day.
Yeah, definitely. But no, looking forward to hopefully getting another chance to prove myself, so I get picked for that first qualification in June in Poland in the European Games, and hopefully go in there and qualifying. And if that's not the case, hopefully get a chance to qualify next March. So yeah, this Olympics now is everything. So the year is all about qualifying for that and giving it my all in training, giving it my all when I go to tournaments, staying professional, and just trying to live the life and achieve what I've been going for years. So yeah.
Best of luck doing that, Garan. Obviously,
best of luck.
You got to shoot off. So yeah,
Yeah.
good luck qualifying, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks a lot. Nice
Cheers,
one, boys.
Garan.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hello, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Garan Croft there. What a man. Handicapping golf, off to watch his mate's final. He's definitely going to get the beers in. There was a little chat pre-podcast about whether or not he'd break his routine and have a beer. I think it's important to let loose, let your hair down. So
their discipline's better than us, mate. Much better than us, let me tell you.
The discipline here is awful. I mean, we were going to talk Joshua Franklin. You're a Liverpool fan, I'm a Chelsea fan. And whilst we're on beer, let's do Chelsea Liverpool, then go to Franklin, because I was in central London last night. I thought I'd go up near the bridge, watch the game. I've told you how much a Carling was, but I'll tell everyone else, $6.50 for a Carling, $4.50 for a Baby Guinness shot. Central London is extortionate. I was completely taken back. This is from someone who's lived in London their whole life, and I could not believe how bad prices were.
They just get worse as well.
How poor the game was. 0-0s are never great. Chelsea, I mean, really should have won that game, in my opinion. We were unlucky not to score through Havertz with a handball. And then James's goal was ruled out because he was well offside in the build-up to it. What did you think? I think Liverpool, if Klopp hadn't had so much success with Liverpool, he'd be gone by now, wouldn't he? But you're not like that as a football club, and it would be completely outrageous to sack a manager who's turned around the fortunes of a club, so now they are great again.
Yeah, I think like pint prices is the same as Liverpool's form. It just gets worse. We were lucky to come away with 1 point from that game yesterday. Just did not look like a threat at any point. Actually surprised that Reece James was off with that offside. That's the first time we've kept a straight high line since God knows when. So yeah, just a lot of negatives to take away, but the 1 point's good enough. But you look over the last 180 minutes of Chelsea Liverpool, and it's been
0-0s.
Horrible football for the neutral.
I think it's the last 4 games have finished goalless between Chelsea and Liverpool. Look, my take on Liverpool was that Klopp is using stale tactics that everyone knows now. Everyone's wise to. I don't know why he didn't start. I thought your bench was stronger than your starting 11. Salah, Gakpo, Milner. Didn't really understand why they were playing. I don't rate Jones. I thought Liverpool in the final third were poor, had nothing going for them. Chelsea are great until they get to the final third. They get into the final third, we don't have a number 9. Kai Havertz is just not cut out for it. And then going forward, I thought Cucurella was poor, had another bad game. Two teams that are going through really difficult times for different reasons. I wasn't best pleased watching that game.
Yeah, the starting squad, I have no idea what's gone on there. I don't know if we're saving ourselves for Chelsea, as if we're going to get a result out of that. I really don't know what the thought behind Klopp's thing. That looks like a team that you put up on a Tuesday night against Preston North End in the FA Cup. Yeah, but Trent needs that. Trent needs a bit of humbling, because I think although he's having bad performances, I think he knows that there's nobody in competition with him, so he's all right. He can afford to have a bad game because he's not going to get benched. Whereas he needs that competition, that Joe Gomez, who's not normally competitive with him because he's like many of the other players had an awful season. Although he did impress me yesterday more than he has, and that just kind of goes to show the standards. But yeah, I think Trent needs that kind of reality check. And it's like you need to start playing well, otherwise you will get benched. But it was just we were like the opposites in our strengths and weaknesses. Like as you said, you're pretty good until you get to the final third, and then you just can't put your chances away. That's what it is. It's not that we're short on creating chances. We don't have that final ball.
Chelsea can
You
create,
guys do, but you don't have that
right?
final
Yeah,
shot.
Chelsea can create. We just don't have a proper number 9, a proper forward to put the ball in the back of the net. You guys just don't even seem to be able to get to the final third, which is just crazy. I thought every
It's unheard of for Liverpool, really.
every
Is.
ball was sideways. I thought Henderson was very average last night. I thought, this is the next day after Chelsea Liverpool. Yeah, I thought it was a very poor game on the whole. Better from Chelsea. I think at least it was an exciting performance, and we were creating. But Mudryk came off the bench and did nothing. Sterling, all right, he's coming back from injury, but still, I would have preferred him to have started because he does make a difference. But really, a poor display from both teams, both going through transitions. So we'll see how the rest of the season pans out. I don't think anyone's getting in Europe between the two of us. And
No, I was gonna say it's just mad how you've gone through all those players and the players that you got in now, but you still haven't had a top quality number 9 since that Diego Costa. It literally does seem like a curse at this point.
It's really strange. It's strange that we spend so much money and we can't get a proper striker. It's odd. It's just odd. I don't understand. I mean, Kante was playing as a forward. It makes absolutely no sense. And I think Chelsea have just been in such a transition for such a long time. And like Man City, Tuchel, when at Chelsea, was making the most of a bad situation without a striker and was winning games. All right, towards the end, he wasn't winning games. He would have turned it around. Maybe we get a striker, we get a Haaland equivalent. It won't be Kane, but maybe someone like Kane, and we turn it around. We'll see. Someone who needs humbling, you said Trent did. Anthony Joshua, was he humbled or does he still need humbling? So there was a performance against Jermaine Franklin that went all the way, went 12 rounds. I don't think anyone thought it would, or it wasn't meant to. Anthony Joshua was meant to, quote unquote, stop Franklin within the first 3 to 6, I'd say. He didn't. It was a struggle. It was a battle. He was quite clearly the winner on points, but that's not really good enough.
Yeah, it's not what he wants to be achieving on his comeback fight. Just looked like he didn't have that confidence again, and we saw a lot of caution with him in the Usyk fight, and fair enough, you're up against one of, if not the best counterpuncher in world boxing. But when it's Jermaine Franklin, you got to take those risks. That is the perfect opponent to take those risks, to land a few more combinations, to actually kind of go in for the kill a little bit. We didn't see that. He
lacks
just mad.
You're right, and he does lack a killer instinct to the point where he can get Franklin wobbled like he did. And I think it was the 11th or 12th, right towards the end. And Franklin looked really dazed. Joshua had got him. And then he takes a step back and he relaxes into himself. And instead of going for that killer punch or that killer combination, he retracts into himself. It's a really, really weird thing. And you could tell that Joshua was the former world champion and that Franklin was the guy who was in a warehouse a year ago. Saying that, Franklin held his own. He held his own against White. He held his own against Joshua. He might have lost both fights, but this guy deserves a lot of praise, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think his chin to hold up and only be wobbled because, although Joshua, as we were saying, didn't follow up, he was landing some big shots through the right hand through the guard there, pierced it so many times and hurt Franklin a lot. And, he shook it off and kept coming for 12 rounds to do that, to not get frustrated by that and not get disheartened by it speaks a lot to Franklin's heart. He was there to fight, try and make the upset happen. unfortunately, it wasn't there for him. But it wasn't convincing enough for Anthony Joshua. And as we were saying about that killer instinct, it used to be so synonymous with him. And even 4 years ago now, since that first Andy Ruiz fight, since that shock upset, he still hasn't learned to shake what happened that night off. It's haunting him. 4 years later, it's still haunting him.
He's a completely different boxer, and I know people sometimes get a bit annoyed when we speak about, or anyone speaks about Anthony Joshua, but the point is that Anthony Joshua was meant to be the next massive big name in British boxing. He was meant to be the Hollywood boxer with a great story through the Olympics and through his early roots in Watford to a world champion, and that was the case for a while. He's dropped off now, and even in his post-fight antics with Ade Oladipo interviewing him, and Joshua was sort of saying that it didn't really matter, and so it was a really bizarre post-fight interview where he didn't hold himself very well, and I don't know. There's something off about Joshua that I genuinely, honestly think if he fights Fury, it's over very quickly.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the behavior is just a bit more bizarre, isn't it? The way he was saying that. And I think, to be honest, okay, it has truth to it. No one's going to look at Anthony Joshua's biggest fights and pick out the Jermaine Franklin one. But that doesn't matter. You're in there to make something of yourself and show something of yourself, especially after coming off 2 losses where you've lost your titles, you've lost what had been your identity for years, to then have a comeback win and say, oh, that doesn't matter. Is that speaking more to his performance, or, to me, that speaks volumes about what he thinks of himself? Why are you not trying to entertain everybody, immediately with that fight? Why is it, oh, it's fine. That's not the right attitude. And it's definitely not a world champion's attitude. I think he may just be a bit more careless nowadays in terms of what he's saying, in terms of what he cares about. I think he's starting to prioritize things. Obviously, we saw in his press conference weeks ago where he's talking about money's the thing that drives me. And I don't criticize him for that. Fair enough. If that's what drives you. But legacy is a thing. And I think it's something that Joshua is caring about less and less as time goes on.
I agree. The legacy stuff is not at the forefront of his mind. I was going to say that I think he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder at the moment for whatever reason.
At a time where he should not have a chip on his shoulder.
No, he shouldn't. The guy's been a unified world heavyweight champion. What more do you want? And he's got the ability to do it again. It's just like, you're right. It's like he's lacking this switch or this desire or ambition. I don't agree with the money. I don't agree with the money statement. Even if it's true that he's motivated by money, which you know what, he grew up on a council estate in Watford and didn't have anything when he was growing up. Of course, he's motivated by money, like everyone is. But that's not what you say when you're a world champion. You keep those. If you want to say that, say it privately. You don't go on the world stage and tell all of these young fans that what motivates you is money. What kind of impression does that leave? Joshua is someone who I've really mixed opinions on. I used to really love the guy. He was a Watford boy. He was one of our own. Went to the same sixth form college as him. Like, I had a real connection. Felt like I had a real connection with him. Went to the Klitschko fight, and over time, I think he's just becoming more and more average, more and more. He's drifting away from the sport, and it's not great to see. The Laura Wood stuff in the end was funny, but I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a better chance there. I don't know.
I think some of that bit was a hard watch. Very, very cool to have such 2 high-profile people in terms of Laura Woods and Anthony Joshua just chilling on a couch, just having a bit of fun and a laugh. But it makes for different content. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a media problem as well. Like, I'm just thinking, if I was him, I wouldn't be happy with that performance, and I definitely wouldn't go into the back room and have a laugh and a joke straight away after. No. Well, to be fair, we don't know how long afterwards it was, but I know what you mean with Anthony Joshua, mate. I feel like a lot of people have come off his bandwagon just because he's lost, and to which.
But I don't think it is. I don't think it is just because he lost. I think it's because of the way he's.
It's the attitude that comes with it,
performing and behaving. Because he beat Frank. Let's not forget he won that fight.
Yeah.
It just feels like a loss.
It doesn't feel like an Anthony Joshua win, does it?
No, it doesn't. And you go back to the really early days when he won his first belt from the American,
Charles Martin.
yeah, Martin. When he bit, I think he that was a second round knockout, wasn't it?
Yeah, something.
If memory
Yeah,
serves.
early on.
I remember watching that as sort of a young boxing fan, being really excited by it. And now it's just I'll still watch every Anthony Joshua fight because he has that ability to grip boxing fans, but at the same time, I've lost a little bit of respect for AJ. I think he needs to buck up his ideas, and if he fights Fury, great. I don't think he's going to win it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think he should stay away from the Fury fight, but also I think Fury just kind of stays away from it as well. He's another bizarre character in the sense of, everything that's happened with the Usyk negotiations. I think that's a fight he can win, so it confuses me as to why he hasn't gone through with that. I think maybe a bit of greed and a bit of ego and a bit of pride all plays a part into that. And I think that's definitely played somewhat into AJ's career as well. It's hard to see where he goes from here, but I would like to see that White rematch again. I think it's the perfect time for it, or Joe Joyce, but I think Joe Joyce might just edge him because that is a hungry, motivated person who is on borrowed time and wants to cement a legacy. So both of those fights would be great. But yeah, Joshua back to winning ways in the win column. Hopefully he can build from here. As a fellow Brit who's backed him over the years, hopefully, as you said, he can buck his ideas up and bring some more success.
Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching the Middlemen podcast this week. It's been great. Thanks again to Garan Croft, and best of luck to him and his brother. All the best, guys, and happy Easter. We'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, happy Easter, guys. Happy Passover. Thanks to Garan for coming on. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a bit more of the sun that we got now, and thanks for tuning in again.